Hi, my name is Alejandro Pérez Pérez, and this is the AI Coffee Podcast. Every week, we will have one episode regarding one disruptive aspect of technologies for the time to drink a cup of coffee. Today we have Gerardo Portilla, who is a researcher in the Spanish National Research Council, Tefi. And I'm really happy to have him here in this podcast because you will see during the interview that he has a lot of things to say about robotics and about helping people. So just to present him a little bit, I would say that he did a bachelor degree in mechanical and electrical engineering in Peru, then a master in mechanical engineering in Madrid in the Universidad Politécnica, and then a PhD in robotics in the same university. Now, regarding his experience, he combines a role as a robotic researcher in different institutions. As I mentioned, now he's working for the Institute for Physical and Information Technologies, which is part of the Spanish National Research Council. And also he's the director of hardware for Peta Optic, which is a startup in San Sebastián, in the north of Spain. So, Gerardo, thank you a lot for being here in the AI Coffee Podcast. Thank you very much. I have one question just before we start talking about robotics. How does it feel to combine two different roles, working in science, working in a company? What are your feelings regarding that?
Hello, Alejandro. Thank you for the invitation to your channel. Okay, it's a little bit exhausted. Yes, because I like a lot of the engineer and the science. Okay, it's a really different things. And for example, this company, it's a new experience. is really different. Another company, it's a startup. The product of this company is development I did. It's a telecommunication system with artificial intelligence. And the other work is the research in the CSIC. For this reason, I need to work 12 hours, for example. But the reason I to do this is because I like my job. I like the robotics. I love the science. Only is the motivations.
Well, it feels really like you are really motivated, and how important to create these bridges between research and industry are. Thank you for your two roles, even though you might be really exhausted. And also thank you for being here because I imagine that your weeks are really full of things. So thank you for being here and sharing your feelings. You are also a researcher in robotics. We are here because I saw you in the news doing an interview regarding one of your robots called Tefi. So I don't know if you can explain a little bit more what's Tefi and also if you have other robots or other projects in robotics.
The Tefi is a quadruped robot with artificial intelligence algorithm for the service of the people with disabilities or dependence such as senile dementia or other. Tefi has developed a small commercial platform, Robotics, in which it has been given the skill to assist these people, such as getting the person to different places, both inside a house and outside, thanks to the help of the GPS. All this is requested through voice command, and this is very important. And it has artificial to detect objects and help navigation in such a way that it detects traffic lights, people, cars, so on, to make decisions. And Tefi also has a telephone systems to make emergency calls, the relatives or hospital, and has environment sensors such as carbon dioxide sensor, for example, and it helps with medical appointments, taxis, taxi cab, and etc.
Well, so it feels like Tefi is really complex. It does many things and it's connected to many different gadgets. You mentioned telephone, you mentioned also emergency, relatives, voice commands. Well, it feels really amazing. So I have one question. I guess that you have answered this quite often, but what do you think it is the differential element for Tefi?
I think the main difference is that it has a social use, I think. Since the other quadruped robots are intended for industrial military use, like those from Boston Dynamics, but we believe that the main elements is the combination of many artificial intelligence models to help the persons, such as convolutional network, transformers, segmentation, etc.
Wow, really great. And when I saw the title of the interview, it says that Tefi, it is like a dog somehow. I will post in the newsletter a picture of it because when you are saying that it's a quadruple robot, and it feels like it's a really technical name for it, but for the rest of humanity, it would be more a dog because it looks like actually. So, I mean, maybe it's like a really big question, but do you think that this kind of robots may replace real dog helping, for example, disabled people? Do you feel like it's going to replace somehow or improve this connection?
That is interesting question, really. With Tefi, we are not trying to replace guide dogs, but one more alternative. However, we must also be aware that robotics in general will replace many man or animal jobs.
Yeah, that's true that also ethically speaking, it's maybe better to do this. I mean, it's like a work. So to be done by a robot somehow, it feels like it's much better than being done by an animal or other person. And also talking about the price, I guess that training the dogs for disabled people, it should be really expensive. So what about the robot? It is more expensive or maybe more affordable? What do you think?
Oh, yes, the cost of this 30,000 euros approximately, but the cost of that robot is approximately 5,000 euros.
Yeah, so maybe it's more affordable for more people. Yeah, of course. And also, I guess that even in the future, it would become even less expensive, right? And then talking about the future, what's the future for robotics?
In my opinion, the future of robotics is found in the perfect combination of artificial intelligence and the dynamics of robots. And without adopt, this will generate a great revolution in society, especially in employment. But contrary to the fear that is generated about in this regard, what is we do is improve the quality of work of the employees by removing the job that required a lot of physical and repetitive effort.
When I see, for example, in the news or in some papers, usually science says that it feels really complicated already to create robots, like robots that moves needs really a big amount of energy and a big amount of, let's say, processors and computers all around the body that it's moving. So it's still putting more effort there. Do you think that it's a possibility in the future? Like we all have systems of artificial intelligence in our, for example, in our phone or in other gadgets, and they are not necessarily moving with like a robot. So do you think that this connection between AI and robotics is really the future?
Yes, I think it's the future and it's very important because the best machine in the world is the human. Okay, for this reason, I think it's very important to create a robot with very good dynamic. I think this is a powerful tool in this case.
Yeah. Actually, that sentence, I really like it, that you said that human are the best machine. Yeah, that's true, actually. Maybe for the moment. Let's hope that it's still the case for the future. Right? And talking about human, actually, do you think that human-centered design is really important in science? Because usually, I mentioned before that science usually is really theoretical. It depends, of course, on the domain, but I feel like we need more human-centered design science. What do you feel?
It's really simple. Technology and science should always be to humanity.
Yes, that's
So
true, but bombs are also made by human, and of course they have also human in the center of the design, but not maybe in the right direction, right? But for example, you can explore building arms with robotics, for example, but in your case, you are researching on helping disabled people, and it feels really human, right? So do you think that we need more research like that instead of research against human, let's say?
Yeah, I think it's important, but for the society or different country economy, it's more important than robot. But I think it's important to think all the time in the human. Many times I can understand why the people create a robot with arm. I can understand really.
It feels really unhuman, right? Like we are always exploring ways to kill ourselves. It's really, really crazy. I agree. And I have one curiosity about Tefi, because you said that voice commands are really important. Is it possible to tell Tefi, come here or something like that, like a real dog? How it works?
The main reason to design Tefi by the use of command voice is the use of the robot will be easy. And the way of the use of this case is, for example, you can say, Tefi, I need to go to the supermarket. And you can speak to Tefi in natural voice. And I think that also is the idea in the future. Currently exists a lot of neural networks in order to recognize voice with high performance. And for me, it's the more important in Tefi because it's the best way to communicate a machine.
Yeah, I agree that it feels really a great step to be able to communicate in natural language instead of, let's say, commands or really like fixed things. And yeah, I agree. And I understand that it's quite a new revolutionary thing to be applied. So I have just a few questions left. How may people, if they're interested on you about Tefi or your research, how may they help you or contact you? Is that possible?
Yes, I need the money. No. You can contact me through the CSIC or my email. And the reason I say the money is because if you want to reach the Tefi to the society, it's necessary investment.
Yes, of course. Of course, I understand. And hopefully science, at least I see here in Spain, is not well supported, or at least is not supported as necessary. So I understand. I have many friends that are working in science as well. And yeah, it's really sad. I agree. So if someone can help Gerardo or Tefi or both, it would be really helpful. Let me know if someone contacts you because of that, Gerardo. And then I have also one question. Well, I must confess that by the time we are recording this, we have no interviews yet because I have been recording already a couple during the last days, but I haven't published them already. So Gerardo is quite brave to come and being able to explain Tefi even without knowing exactly how it works, how the interview is going to be. So thank you very much for that. And I have one question that I am asking all the invites to the podcast. So, how do you like coffee? Do you like coffee? One of the last ones told me that if the other person doesn't like coffee, it wouldn't be fair to be in this podcast, whose name is the AI Coffee Podcast. So, I hope you like it.
No, I think it's the best question of the interview. Yes, I love of the coffee because I am from Peru. In Peru, there are lots of coffee, but especially I like the American coffee with chocolate cookie.
Wow, really great. Thank you very much, Gerardo. I really hope that it has been also great for you to come here and talk. I hope also that I could help you somehow with the investments. Hope that a rich person could listen to that and help to invest in Tefi. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here one more week. If you liked it, please subscribe to the podcast and to the newsletter in alejandroperezperez.com. Please share both with your friends and relatives, and don't forget to give me 5 stars in Apple Podcast and Spotify. See you next week. Bye bye.